Hey guys, FleetFeet here with another War Selection video. This time showing a 35 warrior opening that I usually use when I'm going Asia, either East or West Asia, doesn't really matter. It's just a really robust opening that puts a lot of pressure on your opponents early and is a really good building block if you're newer to the game and just want to start figuring things out. This will give you a lot of tools to learn some of the stuff of what's going on, learn how to control the game, and get to feel some of the aggression that early warriors can put on without actually hurting your economy at all. So the goal of this build was to come at wants an attack that comes before 9 minutes, or sorry, not before 9 minutes, at 9 minutes, which is before any horsemen can be out. It's before any fully upgraded European spears can be out in most builds. It's before any Iron Age tech by a long shot. It's technically, it could still be, you could still get attacked by it's like 5 or 6 minute Stone Age timing, like an all-in timing, or get bulwark rushed, but that's true of any build ever. This one in particular will give you the tools, or can give you the tools to defend that if you need to. It'll still be the same old problem of those builds always, which is that you need to scout them coming in the first place so that you could start reacting to them earlier. But yeah, if you're a newer player, or even if you're an older player and just looking for something different to try out, this is a really strong build overall that will do you a lot of favors. So please come check it out. As you will have seen so far starting the game, it's very normal stuff. You take some of your starting woodworkers, you tell them to go build your first hut. You take your starting food gatherers and you tell them to build a warehouse. You can see that my spawn is actually kind of insane in this game. I'm all more or less completely surrounded by trees. I have 2 little chokes at the bottom. I'm completely enshrouded by trees at the front. I just have a couple of spots to wall off, and for the most part, I'll be really safe. It's pretty awesome. Other normal stuff that you would have seen in other videos if you're paying attention is that I have my first 8 workers go to food, and then after that everybody goes to wood. As soon as I have over 105 food, I will start the berry or the firewood upgrade in my warehouse, and then I will immediately follow that by getting the berry collection speed upgrade. Both of them in this case, where I'm doing a more economic focused build, so I'm not doing any Stone Age aggression, and I'm not rushing Iron Age or anything, because I'm going to spend so much time in Stone Age, they're worth it. If you're not going to spend that much time in Stone Age, I would only recommend getting the firewood upgrade one and not the berry collecting speed upgrade one. It's just not worth it over the short amount of time, because you're basically, regardless if you go Europe or Asia, you're going to transition off of collecting berries as fast as possible, whereas you will still have some Stone Age dudes collecting wood for longer as either one. It's important to note here that the temple timing itself is not that important. All the temple timing is kind of when you want your next warehouse, more or less. It's effectively a really expensive warehouse in this case. You get to slap it down, you put it in a place where it can do some good. Preferably near iron, because it makes your life easier, but if you could put it near trees and another resource, that's fine, that's good too. But the way that this build works is that after my temple is down, and my temple is almost finished, I will start making 5 fight pits and a stone cutter. If you want to be really safe, make the stone cutter first, because that means if a bunch of warriors start entering your base, or you see them with your scout or something, then you can immediately start putting down bulwarks. I can't build bulwarks or slingers without a stone cutter, so ideally I would have my stone cutter up sooner than I do in this game. But I don't sense any aggression. Nobody's borders are touching my own. I haven't actually properly scouted the guy that's relatively close to me, but in any case, typically people don't Stone Age rush that often, so I wasn't that scared of it this game. I should be doing a better job of defending it or preparing for it if need be, but I didn't this game, and that's fine. Anyway, the rest of what I'm doing is just prepping, trying to keep my workers away from each other so they can work efficiently, and I'm waiting on exactly 40 supply. So you'll notice that I said the temple timing doesn't matter. What does matter is the time at which you actually start Bronze Age. So you'll see I wait till I hit 40 out of 45 supply, so 40 supply, and then I will start Bronze Age. What that does is that means that from that point, I know that I will make 10 workers before my Bronze Age finishes. And I will only be, if I have more than 10 workers queued up, I will only be a couple of seconds into the next worker before that before my Iron Age finishes and my altar disappears. When your altar disappears, you lose any resources on anything that was being worked on in it. It's the same for any building. If you have an elephant house, for example, that's 3/4 of the way done an elephant, and then that building dies with the elephant still in production, you will not get those resources back for that elephant. You will lose them. So in the same way, I'll wait till 40 supply, because I know that if I waited till 40 supply and then waited, what would it be, 5 more seconds, then I would have a worker halfway done, and that worker would never finish, and I would lose the 25 food that it would take to make that worker in the first place. So it's a very minor efficiency thing, but it can make a difference if you're going Europe or if you're going Asia, because 25 food is a lot to lose for an age transition. So it's just like a very minor thing, but it helps clean it up. Otherwise, what I've got going on is I am waiting for my Bronze Age to finish. I have all 5 of my fight pits up. I have my stone cutter up. I haven't started any production on any of them yet. What I'm waiting for, and what I'm setting up for right now, is I'm selecting all but 16 of my workers. Because I know exactly how many workers I'm going to have, I can pre-select those workers, and as soon as my Iron Age or Bronze Age finishes, I can upgrade all but 16 of my workers to Bronze Age workers, leaving 16 to collect food because I'm going Asia. So that was some of the setup I was doing because I knew that was coming, so I could just streamline it a little bit by pre-selecting all of those workers, hotkeying them, and then as soon as Iron Age pops, I hit that square bracket and tell them all to upgrade. Here, now that I've gotten some of mine to upgrade and started up my poultry yard, I can tell all 16 of these Stone Age workers to start gathering food, because I'm going to need a ton of food in the coming minutes. What happens now is a flurry of stuff. I have to start getting dudes, or I have to start both upgrades in the stone cutter, which I should have started already. I have to start speed upgrade in one of my fight pits. I have to start population upgrade in my temple as soon as possible. I want all of those things to be going. The way that I do this build a little more streamlined is to delay the warrior upgrades until a little bit later, so that I don't hit this situation that you'll see now where I'm constantly running out of food. Because even though I have 16 Stone Age workers collecting poultry, which is an enormous amount of food income, I'm still going to hit 0 near constantly, simply because they collect a lot slowly, so it takes them a while to start getting the food income to come in. Until this population upgrade is done, I will not have enough food to actually sustain my amount of production at the moment. That's fine. Like I said, this is a simpler way to execute it. You'll see that I still end up getting out all 35 warriors are done and on the map by about 9:20, 9:30 in game time. So with all of those things set up and with all my food collected, and I've now done the population upgrade, so I'm going to just keep ahead of that. I didn't miss any huts. I'm not going to get supply blocked. I start getting some guys collecting iron because I'm going to want to transition to Iron Age after this. 8 is the number of workers that collects at the right speed that they stay ahead of the cost of the upgrade. I'll have a bit of a buffer in iron because I'm starting it earlier, and I'm also getting the vision upgrade because I need time before I can start Iron Age anyways, because I cannot go Iron Age with the fight pits still on the map. I have to upgrade or delete them, and I want them to finish building the warriors first, obviously. In this case, I chose to upgrade the fight pits, so I've already clicked the thing, so as soon as they're done producing the warriors, they will immediately upgrade into barracks. It is totally an option with this build, and this is why this is just an opening. What you do from this point is entirely up to you. There are a ton of options. It's totally valid to, instead of upgrading your fight pits, just delete them and make shooting ranges instead, so you can go very defensively focused from that point and only have archers and be safe in your walls with a bunch of archers. Then you could go basically straight to iron or to IR from there, because you'd be more or less safe against most things, and you can step up through the ages, and it's great. I like to be more aggressive, so I keep the barracks on hand, so if I get attacked by somebody to the south of me, comes running into my base with a bunch of Stone Age dudes, I have reserve soldiers on hand. I don't have that little window where I would be waiting for my shooting ranges to get online and actually get reserves, so I have units to defend. My 35 warriors are done, though, so it's time to go. The melee upgrade for them is, as you can see, just finishing up, so it's not quite ready yet, but it will be shortly. And all 35 of those warriors are done. All my things are upgraded. I have a bunch of idle dudes hanging around my TC because they're lazy. But I have a very specific idea of what these warriors are supposed to do, and you'll see it pretty evidently pretty quickly. So here, I enter the first base. I see he saw me coming, or just is naturally building a tower, and built a tower and 6 spears. 1 tower and 6 spearmen loses horribly to 35 warriors. But I don't fight it. I don't want these warriors to fight anything that fights them. I just don't want them to fight anything that fights them. I don't want them to fight a tower, even though I could bulldoze this tower, bulldoze those spearmen, and probably take this guy's TC out. I would only kill this guy. I would kill this one person, and everybody else in the backline would be completely untouched. I think we've all played enough of this game lately to get the people that's just straight IR rush China on no defenses, and get IR at like 20 to 22 minutes. And then at 25-ish minutes, they have a whole bunch of mounted guardsmen running into our stuff. This is the kind of thing that prevents that from happening. Is if I zerg all of my warriors into the first person that I see, they don't ever pressure the backline. If I have them in mind as something that never wants to fight anything that fights them, they will get a lot more distance and get a lot more ground. So you'll see, I split immediately into 2 groups. I sent one away and said, no, I'm not fighting with spearmen. Ran them to the next base. They're faster than spearmen. Spearmen can't catch them. They're faster than slingers. Slingers can't catch them. They're obviously faster than towers. The only thing that is as fast as them and can catch up with them is horsemen, and horsemen won't be coming out until like 10 minutes, 11 minutes anyways. And it's especially not in numbers that can actually fight them. So it's fine. I will just run away from anything that wants to fight me. I got cowardly warriors. They will go run around and only ever pick fights with workers because they could beat workers without too many losses. You can see even the second group that I had picking away at workers in that guy's base, they're also going to leave and go to another base because they ran out of workers that they could fight that weren't under towers. It's a bit unfortunate, but all 3 of the players that I end up attacking with this warrior rush in this game aren't terribly strong players. Like, they're not offensively weak players. Well, one of them is clearly quite new, as you'll see in a second. I suppose it's later. Yeah, one of them is obviously quite new. The other 2 are newer players or don't have refined builds. But still, the idea is the same. I would run away from anything that wanted to fight me, so even if this first frontline player was a really good player and had 8 towers, I would run away from him and go to the next base. It would mean that I'd have to shore up my defenses at home, because if I can't do any damage to him, then he's more likely to be able to send a counterattack to me really strongly. But in this case, I've killed some 15 of his workers, and he's Europe, so he's like horrendously behind. Losing 15 workers as Europe hurts so much. It slows down everything that you have so much because their workers take so much longer to make. So I know that he's not going to have too much of a threat to me. There's a real threat that he could go either of the Iron Age techs of either swordsmen or legionnaires and essentially steamroll into my base. That's why I started putting up these shooting ranges, because I would need archers to be able to hold that. But I also noticed that he didn't seem to be that terribly strong of a player, so I'm not too worried of him realizing that timing. The build has the tools to hold it, I just don't think that I need them. It's kind of a tragic flaw in a lot of my game play, is that I tend to be super arrogant with all of my builds and be like, nah, it's fine, I could just brute force that with whatever. I had a video I shared with a friend way back in time that was me holding off legionaries with Azaps, and it takes approximately like 8 to 1 Azaps to legionnaires for trading. It was brutal. Like, they don't fight them well at all, but still, I just brute forced it, and it's fine. It's important to note that there's potential that I'm making a mistake here tactically in killing this guy at all with warriors. Like, I've killed all of his economy, he has nothing left. I could just leave his TC alive and leave him there, and he'd still be dead. Like, he's not going to make it back into this game. It's going to take him actually 12 minutes to get anything of a decent economy back, and he'll still be in Bronze or Iron Age at that point. So I could just leave. Spending the extra 30 seconds to kill that guy's TC is not worth more than it is giving the next player back an extra 30 seconds to be ready for the warriors that he's known I've had on the map for 5 minutes. So I probably should have just left that guy alive. I ended up killing him here because I know my plan for later in the game is to make a big pile of elephants and run people over, and that base is pretty far out of the way, so I wouldn't want to go all the way up there with elephants to kill it. But yeah, at this point you can see I've opened into Asia. I got 35 warriors and 55 workers, or I think it was 53 in this case. But I did it really smoothly. I had a lot of tools along the way to defend myself. I was never under any threat of anything. And I was helped out a lot by a really nice spawn. But this is the player that I was talking about. That's a bit new. You can see 4 scouts hanging out just outside your base is usually a bad sign. So, yeah, my warriors are not expected to do much at this point. They end up getting more done than they should by any rights because that player is new and probably still didn't know that warriors were on the map. It happens. It's not a good showing for the build, but whatever. I still, in this case, went through 3 people's bases and killed a bunch of workers. But yes, this was the opening. The segment from 0 minutes until about 13 or 14 minutes in this game. That's the opening. You get 5 fight pits, you get the stonecutter, you get the warrior upgrades, you build 35 warriors, and you never look back. And while you're running those warriors around trying to be as annoying as possible and keep them alive as long as possible, you have all of this time to set up your base at home, set up your economy at home. I'm at about 60 workers at this point in the game, and just sailing smoothly along into the Middle Ages where I can do whatever timing I wanted. Like if I had gone East Asia here, I could be heading into a late Middle Ages hand cannon timing, or... No, wait. East Asia doesn't do anything useful in the early Middle Ages. Yeah, just late Middle Ages for East Asia for the most part at the moment. But yeah, I have the tools that I need to do basically whatever I want from this point. Yeah. You can watch the rest of the game. It's kind of funny how horribly I screw up a segment later in this game where I get attacked by stuff, and you can see my horrible arrogance come into play and the fact that I just completely forget that barracks produce units. But that was the opening. That was what I wanted to show you. Please do steal this build if you think that it'll be useful for you. The basic architecture is pretty simple. In this case, it's slightly refined the timing of things. And yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you want me to see me play, or any country that you're struggling to open into, or thing that you're looking to deal with. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all later.